He was the former leader of a right-wing extremist group here in Canada, but he left that life to teach others about the dangers of extremism. I'm joined here by Brad Galloway. Now, Brad, before we talk about the work you're doing now, let's talk about the past a bit. What led you to that extremist lifestyle?
For a lot of people, it's a sense of belonging, and that's very similar to how I got involved in that as well. It was just like any kid growing up, trying to find something to belong to. I moved away from the normative sort of belonging of sports and school and things like that, and I really wanted to, I was into risk taking and wanted to get into something that seemed, as tough guys and whatever. So it just seemed very attractive, and the person who recruited me ended up being an old friend of mine, so I already had trust, and that's largely what gets people into this, is they have to, have trust and a sense of belonging.
Now, I'm wondering, going from those experiences, now you're teaching others about, these violent extremist groups. Why did you decide to use your experience to help others understand that?
Well, any type of these violent groups or violent extremist groups, they're going to be, it's a huge challenge for communities and for the individuals that do get involved. Getting in is very similar to getting out. So these groups are very violent, and they only lead to bad circumstances at the end of it. So I figured there's two ways to go. You can leave and you can, go into fade out into the distance somewhere, or you could try to help others understand what it's like in these movements, and that hate and fear and extremism don't have place in Canadian societies.
Now, you're also part of a group called the Organization for the Prevention of Violence here in Edmonton. Tell me about the work you guys do.
Well, we're a group that's focused on researching extremist movements and violence in communities here in Alberta, and also researching what prevention techniques we can look at to get people away from joining these types of groups, and also just trying to do community engagement and educate communities about that these things do exist and we do have to look at them.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Brad. Reporting from downtown Edmonton, I'm Sherol Tasascu with City News.